In this video, we're going to slightly restore and heavily customize this 1988 Chevy C1500 OBS truck. We're going to add an all-new coilover suspension from RideTech, custom wheels and tires, a crate engine from Summit Racing, all new custom leather interior, and some freshly painted body panels. Let's go. Alright, let's get started. This is a 1988 Chevy C1500. This is an OBS 88 to 98 truck. This one's called Project Playboy, and we'll get to that in just a minute. This is how we picked it up. A very clean truck, all stock. It's got some upgraded seats in it that we will be ripping out. The nice brown and tan interior came from the factory, but no, this paint job did not come on it originally. This is also an aftermarket engine that's currently installed in it. It's a Chevy 350, we believe, but we're going to be yanking that thing out as well. Alright, so the way we found this truck, it was on Facebook Marketplace. We saw some pictures, sent the guy a message, everything looks clean and clear, it's a great price, so we headed over. This truck was underneath an awning, it was just sitting there. The truck did run, he just didn't drive it for a while, so we yanked it out with our trusty square body, got inside, and now you see how exactly we came up with this name. We found a couple cool old Playboy magazines in the back, which of course we kept. And then we go ahead and put the intake filter back on, spun the wing nut, and checked the fuel and oil. Everything was good to go. So we pulled it out to the road, gave it a few test drives, made sure we didn't have any major mechanical problems. And naturally, one of the best tests you can do is a nice little burnout. Alright, time to get this thing back over to the shop, clean it up. Gonna give it one good solid bath before we tear it apart. We scrubbed the bottom side of the hood to make sure it was nice and clean, and even yanked off these plastic bed rail covers because we won't be needing those anymore. We'll let these wheels soak for a little while to make them nice and clean, and while we do, we want to check on the paint code for this truck. After running the code in the glove box and noticing all these overspray marks, including these rubber that should be black, we do know that this color is not factory. So we're going to go ahead and take this thing over, get all the stuff thrown away that's inside the bed, and then bring it back to the shop to broom out all the debris and dust from the bed and then hit it with a good pressure wash. This is a pretty satisfying part of the job, getting this thing all clean, but if anybody knows, working on an old rusty truck, the last thing you want is all this dust and debris falling in your face. Alright, with the truck all clean, we're going to go ahead and yank the bed off. We're using this forklift along with this cool little bed lift. Bolt it up, undo all the bolts from the bottom of the bed, take off the gas door, and we can just simply take the bed off. We're going to clean this frame really well before coating it. We're going to scrape it, blast it, even spray some degreaser and foam on it. When it's dry, we're going to use some aluminum foil to cover up all the places we don't want pour 15 on it. So we're going to spray the whole frame, and look how good it looks, even the bottom side of the bed. So now we're going to use the forklift to put the bed back on, get it all bolted back up so we can get it over to the shop to start working on the suspension. We're going to leave the factory bumper installed, but we will be replacing this with a roll pan and repainting it in just a little bit. We're going to throw these wheels in here, get the suspension all in the truck, get the truck loaded up on a trailer, and head over to Saltworks Fab in Mayaka, Florida. These guys are absolutely amazing at the work that they do. We used RideTech full coilover suspension on this truck. So we're going to do a cut C-notch in the frame, in the back, pull off the rear axle, get rid of the leaf springs. We're going to have coilovers all the way around front and back. They're going to have to remove the bed again, which makes it nice that we've already had it off. The bolts come out nice and easy. The bed is very clean and coated. This RideTech kit is a wonderful kit. It bolts right in. You do have to make a few little cuts, drill some holes, but no major adjustments to the frame or the body of the truck. It's a wishbone rear 4-link suspension along with the coilovers, so it's a very nice, clean, easy to install kit if you have the right tools and time. The wheels we're using on this truck are from Shot Wheels. They're 20-inch billet aluminum multi-piece wheels with 285/35/20 Michelin Sport tires on it. So now that the rear suspension is complete, the wheels are bolted up, everything clears nice and smooth. We're going to move over to the front. The guys from Saltworks took off the upper and lower control arms, took out the springs and shocks. They had to clean out the inside of the upper spring cups so the coilover sits flush. But other than that, all this ride tech stuff just bolts right into the front end. We also decided to upgrade the front brakes in order to have a nice big brake behind these beautiful wheels. The Ride Tech front sway muscle bar is really strong and gives us all the performance that we're going to need in this 88 Chevy truck. Alright, now that the suspension is done, we drop it on the ground, get to see it on the ground for the very first time, open up the bay, and look how smooth that thing looks. It sits perfect, it rides amazing, and now we can go over to the paint and body shop to get started on the next part. So, Street Dreams in Ocala, Florida is going to be replacing the hood and roll pan. We have a new Cal induction hood from Holly Classic Truck, and we are also going to be cleaning out the inside of the bed and rhino-lining the bed to make it nice and clean. We also had a little bit of rust repair that needed to be done, but Shane nailed it. Everything looks great, all new taillights, and now it's time to get it over to the shop. Alright, with it back at the shop, we can start on the next phase of this project, which is the interior. We're replacing the entire interior with all new parts from TMI Interior. We're going to be cleaning out the floor of it, cleaning all this rust out, cleaning all these original panels, and putting in new carpet and seats. We're also going to be putting in a new headliner, new visors, and everything else that we need to make this a brand new interior. After getting the interior pieces out, we took out the dash and the radio pieces in order to replace it with a new Dakota digital dash and new stereo equipment from Retro Sound. The carpet is removed and there's lots of rust underneath it, so we used some KBS rust cleaner, grinded out some of the rust, and then put an all new coat of POR 15 on the floor to protect everything and make sure that there's no new rust that shows up. We also added boom mat from DEI in all of these locations. This is a kit that's designed specifically for these trucks. It sits right underneath the carpet, and we also added dash and door panel speakers also from Retro Sound. The new carpet kit installs nice and easy, as well as the TMI brackets for these new race bucket seats, a center console, and an all new billet steering wheel from Eddie Motorsports. Before putting all these original panels back in, we're going to give them a good scrub down, make them all nice, brand new and clean looking, as well as replacing the side view mirrors with sport versions. The new Performance TMI interior is beautiful, it smells great, it's designed well, and we're excited to go for a ride. But before we do, we're going to yank this motor out and replace it with a brand new Crate 350 engine from Summit Racing. The old engine just needs to be removed, as well as the transmission, which will also be replaced from a new piece from Phoenix Transmissions. Before the new engine goes in, we're going to take the truck out back and really scrub down the engine bay and also coat it with POR 15. Get all that rust out of there. We're going to have to replace some of these parts and pieces, including the battery tray, but it's not a big deal. Everything we can get from locally from NPD. We're pretty lucky to live right next to National Parts Depot. Coating everything with POR 15 is going to ensure that we get no new rust. Alright, now to get to the new engine. This Crate 350 comes beautiful, the Phoenix transmission is packed amazing, and we have all billet pulley kits from All American Billet. So with the transmission installed and the engine mounted, we added some fluids, cranked it up, and it's ready to roll. Time to take it for its first test drive. Alright, the truck runs great, but we have a few last things we want to do to it. It looks really good as it is. These new wheels look perfect. I love the hood on this thing. We even got nice performance upgraded brakes from Performance Online. And this TMI interior is absolutely second to none. OBS guys, buy it. It bolts right in. Alright, time to go drive in this thing. The billet steering wheel looks amazing. Those Dakota digital gauges look great. I'm super happy. I can't express enough how much fun these 88 to 98 trucks are to build. I've done a few of them. The aftermarket parts fit amazing. Everything works as it should. They look incredible when they're done, and you get more looks on these things than any other truck I've driven.